Welcome back, everyone. In the last video, we learned about implementing our navigation component as well as utilizing this link component we get from React Router DOM. In this video, we're going to actually replace this logo with an actual logo, and we're also going to implement some styling for this navigation bar. To begin with, we need to bring in an SVG that I provided you for this logo. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to make a new folder, and you can call it Assets at the top level. Inside of this Assets folder is where you're going to place your SVG. So inside, if you open up your resources folder, you should find this crown.svg file. And I want you to drag that, download it, and put it into your Assets folder. Here, you'll see that this is what the actual logo looks like. And what you'll also notice is that if you look in the actual file itself, it's a bunch of HTML. SVG is a scalable vector, which means that no matter how big or how small you make it, it will always have these crisp, clean lines. There will not be any of that pixelation that you see with PNG and JPEGs as you scale and reduce them. So that's why they're great for logos. So once you have it in, you need to actually use it. And the great thing about React is that we can actually import these as components. So here I'm going to say import React component. And I'm going to say this is as the crown logo. And I'm going to import this from our assets folder. And you can just directly use this like so. It'll be a component. And the other thing we want to do is give it a class name of logo. And now if we save this and we go back to our application, we see that we have our crown logo now. If we go to shop, there's the shop page. If we click it, it behaves the way we expected it to. So this is everything that we wanted it to. The next thing we want to do is we want to implement the styling. So what you should do is open up navigation.styles.css, add that to your navigation, just like we always do. And what we're going to do now is you're going to go again into your resource folder, download the navigation styles file, and then paste it in. Now, once you've pasted it in, just save your styles file and remember to import this styles file into your navigation component. So let's just import the relative route as we've always done, importing navigation.styles.sass. Let's save this and let's go back to our application. And here we see that our bar and our styling has been implemented. Now, one thing you might notice is that the shop link has this underline. This is because of the default styling that browsers apply on our anchor links. So we don't want this, and we want to change this behavior across all of our anchor links. So let's go back into our application. And we're actually going to make a couple tweaks to our index.sass file. So this index.sass file is the default applicable styles that we want inside of our application. This essentially is styling that we want to do when we need to reset things or when we want it to apply across everything, which is why that's where we put our font family. There's two things I want to do. The first is I want to modify our anchor tags. And here I want to make it so that there's no text decoration. Text decoration, none. This will first of all get rid of that underline when you've got a link that's been visited. And then I want to change the color to black. And here, if we save this now and we go back, we see that our link behaves the way that we expect it to in our final application, where it just looks like a black text. Now, there is one more thing that I want to modify. And to modify, I need to show you something. Let's first inspect our element of shop. Looking at this div here, let's say that inside of our styles, let's just imagine that what we did is we added some hard width value of 50 pixels. So here we see that this has a 50 by 70 dimension. So 50 width, 70 height. If I were to add padding 25 pixels, now if you highlight it, you see that the actual dimension has gone up to 100 by 120. So the overall width and height of our element has increased by 25 pixels on each side. If you scroll down, you actually directly will see a visual representation of this. So you'll actually notice that border and padding will both increase the width of your element. This is not intuitive. What we actually want is for the padding to be accounted for inside of the actual width and height of the elements that we have. You don't want to add padding and add borders that will modify these values. It just seems unintuitive because if I say that the width of this element is 50 pixels, the width should never change. The way that we're going to do this is we're actually going to say that I want this box sizing to be border box. This now, instead, if you hover, you'll see that because of our padding, it's kind of thrown off the placement of it in terms of where it's being highlighted. But you'll notice that the width and the height is still 50/70. So this just means that if we actually add padding, we just need to make sure they're realistic values, something like 5 pixels, for example, for this component. But what we still want to do is make it more intuitive for us. So we want all of our elements to have box siding, border box. And remember, all that does is it just makes it so that your padding and your borders don't throw off the dimensions of your component that you've defined. And to do this, inside of our index.sass, we're also going to do star and then box sizing border box. This star matcher is a selector that matches everything. So anything that can be matched will be matched, and it will apply box siding border box on all of them. And that is the changes that we want to make. And now we have pretty much our navigation component. We can now easily add any new nav links into it by generating new links and putting them inside of our nav links container. And then our logo is done for our homepage. And here now we see that this behaves exactly how we expect it to. This now is already starting to look much closer to our final application. So now that we have this, in the next video, let's actually start building out more of our application and filling in more of these links. I'll see you in the next video.